You are in for a treat today. We are going to tell you everything you need to know about winterizing your home in Southwest Florida.
And winterizing your home in Florida is a lot different than it is up north. So make sure you watch. We're going to have some fun with this video. And one of the tips at the end, you're going to want to make sure you see.
So one of the first things with winterizing for us is getting our cushions back outside to be able to utilize our outdoor space, because this is winter. This is when you want to be in Southwest Florida. So we actually keep our cushions and a lot of our furniture put away during rainy season, and for good reason. When it's raining and everything gets wet, there is definitely mold that can grow. So we have products that we can use called Wet and Forget. You always got to check it to make sure that it doesn't affect your cushions at all. But one of the things we do to get ready to spend time outside in the winter is getting all of our cushions back set up on the lanai. So now I'm going to show you what does happen to your cushions if you leave them outside during rainy season. So you can see there's a little bit of mold that's growing on here, but no worries. We will wet and forget them. You can wash them. This does come off, but this is what happens when you don't bring cushions in and out. So a lot of our people who don't spend all year long here, they literally will bring their cushions into the garage, and then they'll only bring them out when they come back home. But this will be nice and clean once we get it all cleaned off. But more importantly, in our seating area over here, the next thing that you need to get ready to winterize is the fire pit. So it's really important to know that you have a fresh gas tank.
Here we go, full tank.
All ready to go, so that on those cooler evenings we can sit outside.
That's right.
And we can fire up the fire pit.
It's supposed to be in the 60s tonight, honey.
We're gonna need the fire pit.
We're gonna need the fire pit for sure.
I might have grown up in Illinois, but I'm now a Florida resident and my blood is thin, and 60 is cold.
It only takes one season. And one thing that we do down here that's way different than up north, when we talk about preparing our windows and doors for winter, we don't have to put the films on. I remember being at my parents' house and we would be blowing on films to try to keep the heat in the wintertime. What we're talking about here, we're not caulking and checking all the seals. We're getting a good can of lubricant or silicone lubricant, and we're gonna spray all of the tracks. And the reason being, we're going to use these doors a lot. So this is a zero corner sliding glass door. It's impact glass, which is an option through Pulte, and it's heavy. So, we want to make sure that it slides really easily. And you can see here as I take this away and Angie takes the other one away, your outdoor space becomes an extension of your inside space. It's pretty fantastic.
And these are nesting sliders. So what that means is that they tuck all the way into the wall versus kind of just leaving one door's length. So they nest pretty far back, and it just is an extension of that living space, like Jeremy said.
All right, so one of the things that we do here, of course, is decorate for the holidays. We love decorating for Christmas. And I just remember being in Illinois, being in Massachusetts, being in Missouri, didn't matter where we lived at the time. Whenever I pulled the ladder out the day I finally decided to decorate, it was either raining ice, it was snowing, or it was like 14 degrees. So of course I had the gloves on, I would be just totally bundled up. And that's terrible, because when you're trying to hold the ladder for your wife, I don't go up, I'm afraid of heights. You want to be in flip-flops and bare hands for safety reasons, of course.
It's a much better way to do it.
Okay, so something that we talk about every once in a while, but it is super important here, is the air conditioning, which is also your heat in the wintertime. We don't use heat here a lot. In fact, we probably have 2 to 3 frost warnings a year. Those are typically the days that we're going to turn the heat on. But this thing just worked its tail off all summer long. So a couple things you want to make sure you do. We do monthly maintenance on ours, which includes changing out the filter. You can change your filter on whatever frequency you prefer. We've just fallen into monthly, which we prefer. And then if you look down here, this is actually your drain. So we pour about a cup of vinegar down that drain every month as well to try to eliminate any backup. And one thing worth considering, you're pretty much going to have your AC system on a biannual service. Now's a good time to have it serviced. It's not working quite as hard. They're going to go through all the routine and whatever maintenance that it needs, do all the system checks, make sure you don't have any leaks. They'll check the coil, they'll check everything. So ACs, they work pretty hard here. They do become your heater in the wintertime. One recommendation we might have is turn it on before you need it, because it's going to burn off whatever that smell is, and it's pretty putrid the first time. So open the windows and doors, get the heat on, get that burn off, and then you'll be ready to go for winter.
So we do get asked a lot about whether or not we decorate for Christmas, and we absolutely decorate for Christmas. And a couple things that are different here that you have to think about. One, we actually try to look for a cooler day to decorate instead of a warmer day to decorate, because sometimes this time of year, frankly, it's still quite warm out. So still better than doing it in the cold, but we do like to take that into account. Another thing is a lot of the HOAs have restrictions on when you are allowed to put out your outdoor decorations. So you just need to be aware of that and where you're living. And then the third thing that you really need to kind of consider is if you're putting, if you're wrapping your palm trees and you're putting lights in your bushes, and if you're putting anything in your yard, because most of our HOA communities do cover landscaping as part of your monthly fees, you have to make sure that it's easy for them to see where your plugs are, and it's best to unplug before the day, but we don't always know what day they're coming, so they will basically just unplug everything. You are at a little bit of risk, I would say, that one of your plugs might get run over, but otherwise, I promise you there's really nothing better than riding around and looking at palm trees lit up in Christmas lights. And I am so excited to share my new wreath that I found for this year from, I believe it's from Grandin Road or Front Gate, I'm not sure which one. But how could I not buy this wreath? You know it speaks to me, it speaks to us. Our theme is Living Joy in Southwest Florida, and now we can have a joy wreath on our front door welcoming everybody in this holiday season.
All right, so here we are back outside, and this is a big one up north. I remember buying all the insulation cones and whatever to put on our hose bib. Well, the change of the season here brings a couple different things. And the first thing is we go away from our rainy season. So we have an autofill on our pool, and it's super great this time of year because basically it's not going to rain again for probably 5 months. Of course, we do get some rain, but it's not frequent. But this splitter here actually controls the autofill. So this is actually running right now, and it basically, as the pool gets below a certain level, it just continues to fill and then it shuts off. This is something that you can add to your pool even if it didn't come. Most of the builder pool packages are not going to have an autofill. Again, this is something that you can add after the fact. You can also convert to salt if you'd like, since a lot of the builder pools aren't salt. One other thing that we do here, we make sure that our irrigation is turned on. So unlike up north where we had to blow out all of our lines and our people would come out with their compressors and blow the water out, our irrigation runs only a little bit in the summertime because it's our rainy season. This time of year, we're going to want to make sure that everything's working. So do a wet check or have your people come out, do the wet check, make sure all the zones are working and all the heads themselves. Otherwise, you're going to end up with brown spots or parts of your flower beds or hedges that look burnt out.
So something else that doesn't happen a lot here in Southwest Florida, but we do need to take into consideration is we tend to get 2 or 3 freeze warnings every year. Sometimes it's a few more, sometimes it's a few less, but we do have to take care of our tropical plants when that happens. They are not built to sustain those cold freeze temperatures. So when you have plants like hibiscus and some of the other Southwest Florida tropical plants, you just need to have a plan. How am I going to cover these plants and protect them in the event that a freeze warning comes? And people will ask, what do you actually do to cover those plants during those freezes? So when you go to the nurseries or the hardware stores, they actually sell really lightweight cotton cloths that you can buy that are fairly inexpensive. You just want to make sure that you cover the plant all the way to the ground so that the warm air stays trapped in there and it doesn't escape. Stay away from things like plastic, as those could freeze and damage your plants. So lightweight cotton cloths are the best way to go. We are so excited that you stuck with us for the special tip at the end. You want to make sure that you have your golf cart in tip-top shape, nice and ready for all the cruising around to go check out the holiday lights. First thing you need to make sure of,
you're going to want to make sure that you have water in your batteries. We do this about every 2 months just to make sure they're level. Use distilled water, you top it off, good to go. Check.
Batteries check. All right, we're going to check out the headlights.
Okay, we want to make sure we're seeing at night. Yep, headlights are good.
Awesome. We want to make sure that we're safe when we're going, so we're going to check.
Blinker check.
Blinker.
Blinker check. Yep, we're good.
Awesome. Blinkers are good.
Yep. Horn works.
How's the horn, honey?
Works great. Perfect. Check.
Check. And of course, we don't go anywhere or on any cruises without the Guillette Group Yeti cups. Check.
Well, there's not much better than getting in the golf cart and going for a cruise. Holiday music.
Check. Well, we sure hope you enjoyed this as much as we did. As you can see, we are easily getting in the Christmas spirit here in Southwest Florida. And we really want to know from you, what tips did we miss? Because we know that we forgot some. So what else do we need to be doing to winterize our home right here in Southwest Florida? We hope you had a little fun with this Southwest Florida winterizing video. We know we sure did.
Yeah, it's obviously a little bit different than what you do up north, and it's just a little more fun for us on the channel. If you want to reach out to us, you know how to catch us. It's 239-776-6872, or of course on any of our social media channels.